Crypto Clout, and today we are looking at the a market cap of 283 billion, and a lot of green across the board. And I felt like a good conversation that should be happening right now, and really is happening if you pay attention to the community discussion that's going on the internet regarding cryptocurrency. It's really the question of regulations. And how's everybody doing? Shout out to South Africa. So yeah, we look at this list of cryptos on here. And we're forced to evaluate them from a everyone's from South Africa apparently. Ireland. Shout out Ireland. And the one question that's on my mind, when Lambo, no, I'm just kidding. It's the fundamental point of what this discussion that's happening in the crypto space right now. It's the question of regulations, and there's ups and downs regarding this topic, because certainly there's a lot of benefits from the current volatility that we see happening right now. I mean, there's also a lot of risks. I mean, you've got to have tough skin in this space, because you really have to be educated and be up to date to the fullest extent. And I can see how a lot of people can get blindsided in the current situation, especially in the light of what we've been seeing in terms of volatility involving, I mean, it speaks for itself. We're essentially in the exact same position we were around mid-April. But however, we're holding up, and I think moving forward, I mean, obviously this sort of thing happens all the time in crypto. I mean, it's happened multiple times this year, to varying degrees, but the question is, how are we going to respond as a global community in respect to these dynamics? And India eyeing own crypto in sight of potential ban reveals. So India is right alongside us in this conversation regarding regulations and how is crypto going to move forward. And the way I see things, the only cryptos that are going to survive are going to be I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but it's going to be the well-established ones in terms of the establishment, the establishment favorites. And Ripple really does catch my attention when you see these different partnerships happening involving Apple, involving Santander, involving these household names, including but not limited to international banks, and a whole range of really unprecedented new ground for crypto. And when you take a look at Ripple's roadmap and what they have in store, things are honestly moving around pretty as scheduled, I would imagine. I mean, I've done very much of a lot of analysis of the team that's working with Ripple, and I find it a pretty promising project moving forward. Now, I understand Ripple has its haters, much like any other cryptocurrency. It's not without its flaws. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm merely bringing up the fact that there's a strong probability that we might eventually see Bitcoin fall and be replaced by one of these other technologies in the top 10, possibly even the top 20. And if you think about it, to a large extent, Bitcoin has already fallen. I mean, the all-time highs were 20K, and now it's at 6K. So that's a huge hit. That's like 75%, and it's reflected by the total market cap. Now, I know Bitcoin dominance at 39% currently, and when we see a lot of red, we tend to see a lot of people running to Bitcoin because that's the number one crypto, and it seems to be the most stable out of the variables. But of course, I'm just making the argument that when we see real institutional money coming into the crypto space, they're not going to involve themselves in a space that's not regulated. So seeing a $1 trillion market cap really goes hand in hand with these variables of because a lot of the things that we know and love about cryptocurrency are tied directly into it being the new space that it is, with the volatility included. It's sort of just the nature of the beast this early in the game. But for crypto to really succeed and for us to see mass adoption really take place, it's going to require something more. Now, of course, remember, this video is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment, educational purposes only. Remember, I'm not your dad. At the end of the day, I'm not your dad. But, this is just my opinion regarding the space as it currently stands. But I find Ripple difficult to ignore from my analysis of the technology. And you look at the conversation that's happening regarding crypto as it currently stands, and it's obvious that something's got to give. I mean, we've got all these news articles jumping on board and trying to take the piss out of crypto, as many opportunities as they can get. And that's fine. That's what the news is going to do. But a fair indication of the public consciousness is the step-by-step process that's going to need to take place, respectively. And we see Hollywood popping on board, and the culture really is paying a lot of attention to crypto, and it's obvious that it's a huge shift in the way that people have been doing things, and I'm certainly looking forward to to seeing how things go from this point moving forward. And I mean, with a market cap of 283 billion. And moving forward, I would say long-term 2020, these technologies are clearly superior to that of what we've been seeing so far. And it's an unprecedented shift over to this new paradigm. So the fact that Ripple is connecting itself with retail, connecting itself and diversifying, I think is really going to play to its advantage as things move forward. And when we exit this current dynamic of crypto where there's so much volatility, I think that it will really give potential to some of these lesser known alts. But of course, Ripple's pretty well known now. It's been on the Ellen DeGeneres show, for example. It's all over the media. There's people, the establishment's clearly warmed itself up to Ripple to a large extent. And that's not happening without good reason. See, there's a plan in the works, whether you know it or not, whether you're in the know or not. They're making moves to position Ripple. I mean, Ripple's already exchanged places with Ethereum before. And I understand one of the major drawbacks that gets Ripple a lot of criticism is the relationship between XRP and Ripple. But I think that will work to the overall advantage of the technology as we continue to move forward. And, you know, my analysis of Ripple is fundamentally data-driven. And, yeah, I mean, that's my point. I think that over a long period of time, a lot of these different variables will come together. But for now, it's just important to sort of don't hold your breath, but sort of grit your teeth and, you know, take what's going to come, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. And you got to have tough skin. And for those of us who've been involved with crypto for any amount of years, we're probably used to this sort of thing by now. But it's sort of just a fair warning for all of you noobs out there. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, there is a lot of variables that have to come together before we see real institutional money coming on board. Now, I'm talking billion-dollar market cap. I'm talking some like John McCafe status. And this will have positive effects on Bitcoin as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not ruling out Bitcoin. It is a valid choice at the current moment. I'm just basically talking about we're due for a lot of change-ups, respectively, when it comes to the top 100. And I think anybody will tell you that we're really overdue for this paradigm shift in the next year or so. So just some things to keep in mind. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.